All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order at, I've got 7:05. And first thing, the attendance, and I'd like to, Jim, set you for Fred. So you'll be voting for Fred tonight.
Okay.
So you'll be a voting member tonight. And the minutes, I'm probably the only one who has a copy of them, and Jim has a copy because Jim made these. And so what I'm going to do is give these to you, Sharon, and you can basically do some corrections on here, and then we'll have them for next meeting.
Yep.
And we also had another meeting on March the 24th, and so I'll put those minutes together, and we'll have both of those for next meeting. Old business, Robbie, do you need to get to another meeting, so you'd like to just be around?
But,
Okay,
you know,
no.
you can do whatever you have
Yeah.
to do. I mean, you
No,
know,
no,
I don't want to go right at the beginning.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, but when you need to, let me know, and we'll move the agenda around a little
Okay.
bit. And, the chairman's report, I think that of course, the major thing that we did, this month was, get our budget squared away, and, our original budget of, which was, a $95,000 budget, was scrutinized by the, Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance, and at our last meeting, we agreed to bring that budget down to a $49,000 budget, and the Board of Finance did recommend that, and I believe that's part of the budget that was presented as their proposed budget. We did lose our position of a director, which we wanted, but that grant writer director. But what we adjusted the budget to be was to have a 15-hour part-time director position and a possibility of having a grant writer, but that grant writer would be on a contractual basis. And so that would be up to us to hire somebody on a contract and see if they can bring in some grant money for us. And also the fees would come out of the grant. So there wouldn't be a salary account here. It would have to be something there. The grant would have the monies in it for administrative fees. So I think that probably that is the biggest thing that we have to decide upon. Do we want to start to look for a director, which is a part-time 15-hour position, and basically work with the selectman's office as far as deciding whether we want to do that. And I think that's where we were at our last meeting on the 24th. It looks like that money, we do have enough in this year's budget to, I'm sure by the time we hired somebody, it wouldn't be a whole lot of time left, but there is some money in the budget for it. And I think that next year it is being proposed in the budget, so I'm suggesting that we set up a committee to look into the director's position, and I'd like to have the director on board before we go into possibly a contractual grant writing position. I think the director should be on board before we get into that. So if that's agreeable with the board, I'll make up a committee, and we'll have a recommendation for the next regular meeting, and see if we want to actually act upon that. Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
No.
Don is.
Well, committee's good as long as we get a chance to get a sense of what first selectman would like to do with that position, so we coordinate it.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And no, it'll
Get
be
it in,
basically it'll be go through the first selectman's
Right,
office.
identify exactly what the job description will be, and
Again,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. and so we can do that. All right, that, we'll be working on that this month then, and we'll try to come back to next meeting with a pretty good idea as to what we want to do, what that person's responsibilities would be, and basically work with the first selectman's office on that. The Goodspeed Landing area, the Old Town Office site. Emmett, I believe that the RFP went out for that, and
Did.
I know I've talked to a couple of engineers that said that they have seen them, and I guess they're having a walkthrough Tuesday?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I believe we're having a walkthrough on Tuesday with the people who have showing an interest in it. And I think that that would be great, and then I obviously
Quite a turnout on that from what Linda's saying.
Oh, good.
A lot of response.
Yeah, I understand that there's interest and also some good companies. So I think you're gonna end up with some interest and also I think some hopefully some good bids. I don't know whether numbers mean bids or not, or money.
And is that looking to sell the property, or is that looking to lease the property out?
No,
Or?
this is to identify the hazards on the.
Okay, okay.
We're still trying to, that garage.
Trying to get it back to,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, we've done a phase 2, and we need to basically go through the phase 2 and get through the phase 3.
Right.
And whether you lease it, sell it, no matter what you do,
It has to pass that.
we have to get that done and find out what we have and what we don't have,
Right.
because all the dollars are going to go around that. And so that has just a huge effect on what our dollars are going to be. So hopefully, when do we expect the bids will be in the next week or so? Is that what we're thinking about?
Yeah, it's soon.
Soon, okay.
I don't think this is next week, I believe.
Next, yeah, you got one more full week, because you got, if Tuesday is for the walkthrough, then I'm assuming it would go to the next Tuesday to actually put
I don't have the schedule.
okay, yeah,
Here.
okay, well,
Quick.
yeah, I think that's I think they put it out for 2 weeks, for the,
I know it was put out for 2 weeks, I just don't know when it started.
yeah, okay, yeah. And so, what we're just talking about is,
Sorry, we went to the wrong building.
oh, you went to the wrong building? Oh, okay. Well, that was
Any
my
other
fault,
building?
because I didn't put it on the agenda.
Is there any other building?
Absolutely not.
Right. But, so, from now on, we will put that on.
And a room number.
And a room number, yes. And this should be our room number 1. That's what, there's only 1 week or something where they're
Yeah,
wiggling us
you
around.
can get here and look for a long time for the right room.
Oh, I walked around. All the doors are shut, so
I know, can't see who's in here anymore.
and you guys are being quiet. So.
I didn't tell you.
You did, yeah.
So just go over it quickly, we were just talking about basically what we did with the budget and where it went to, and this month, what we're gonna do is try to identify, get a job description for a director. This will be a part-time, 15 hours a week, and so if we have a job description and basically a committee to set it up and see what we have and see if we can come out of this with a recommendation of a new director's position. And the grant writing position, basically we're looking at is to identify the director first, and then basically after that we'll start to see if we can get somebody on board to do grant writing. That's one of the things that we were looking for, to have somebody, and this will be on a contractual basis, it won't be on a salary position sort of thing. So that's where we are right now, and I think that Irene, if you could be a voter for, I don't think Kevin's coming tonight, so if you could vote for Kevin tonight. Basically, First Selectman, would you like to make any?
Well, the RFP, which we already mentioned, budget is next Tuesday, we're gonna have the public hearing. And I gather Board of Ed is gonna schedule themselves an hour early so they can make it,
Oh,
be
okay.
part of that. And item of interest, Route 9, the flyovers and the redevelopment to get rid of the traffic lights, which is on the suspended list. All of a sudden, it's coming back to life.
Oh,
And I don't know where it's going,
well,
but they realize that they really got to do that. It's essential. I had occasion to drive up through there earlier this week in the morning. Awful.
yeah.
Just,
Awful.
in a few words, what is the Route 9 flyover?
This is
Middletown.
when you
Where the
come
lights
out,
are.
Okay, okay.
To
Yeah.
eliminate the lights.
they're going to eliminate the lights and they're going to have
Gotcha.
flyovers to get you into town
Yeah.
and out.
Yeah. I thought the plan itself was not accepted by the city, though, wasn't?
It's coming back to life.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
so
I-
if
I
they,
don't
if
know
they
how
see
long
money
you-
on the table, they'll get it squared away, it's just
They're
how.
going to figure that one out.
Yeah, because I think that the last I read, that the city was not happy with the way the traffic moved into the city and out of the
There's
city.
discussion about how it's going to work.
Yeah, yeah.
Once again, the interest is there and
Oh.
it's needed.
Oh, it is.
Desperately needed.
It is definitely, I think any of us will go up there at business hours, I mean, it's tough right there to get through that whole area there. But the budget hearing is Tuesday night, I believe,
Tuesday night.
and I think that's at 7 o'clock at the high school.
7 or is it 8?
They couldn't start that at 8, it has to be,
Right here.
oh, yeah.
It's 8.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock.
No, 7 is the public hearing on April 10th. April 24th is 8, so.
Oh,
yes,
okay, the
8
one
to
on
12.
Tuesday night is 7 at
7
the high
7
school.
o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so it is.
And what's on the 24th?
that's the annual town budget meeting,
Oh,
To set a referendum.
and then
or-
the referendum's tentatively, or is set for Tuesday, May 8th.
All right, Emmett, have anything else you'd like to bring up?
That's all I
Yeah.
can think of at the moment.
Okay, no, that's great, that's great. Goodspeed Landing Committee, basically, the COG, looked at the roundabout proposal for around the Goodspeed area. I would say, what would you say, Emmett? I mean, as far as felt like their
They were
needs,
not really in favor of it.
yeah, that they
They
needed.
just didn't feel it was something we should look at.
Okay, and I think they felt we needed to do the whole area too, to see what we're gonna do with the bigger piece here.
Reduce the amount of available space so much that it would get in the way of any other use.
Yeah, but, all right, so, but I think that,
Excuse me, in regards to the Goodspeed Landing, what is the status on the report on the garage?
yeah, we just talked about that. It is out for an RFP.
The RFP is out. It'll be finished next week. There's a walkthrough on Tuesday.
Right.
And that's moving forward.
Yeah, so we're hoping that there can be somebody in there in maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something, actually drilling some holes.
To test, yeah.
Doing the testing, because the RFPs are supposed to be back a week from Tuesday, I believe. I don't know exactly, but it's somewhere around there.
that doesn't have to go out to bid?
The RFP,
Yeah,
that's what we're
that's
doing.
what that is. So so you're saying that the bids come back in 2 weeks and then you just pick one and do it?
Next week, the bids are back.
Okay,
And we'll be selecting the bid and
oh, okay, so it can happen that quick.
walkthroughs on Tuesday.
Okay, good. Oh, okay, good. I thought that it would be a long process.
No, this
Okay,
is,
good.
It's been a long process.
once you finally get them
Yes, it
over,
has.
it's quick.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Good.
Glad to hear it.
The long part's over.
Good,
Yeah,
that's
so-
for sure.
Yeah. So, and, you know, I think that a little bit on the roundabout and the whole Goodspeed area, I think it all goes back to deciding what we're doing with the whole area down there. And I think everything I've seen, it really needs a master plan down there. So we know what we're doing, not just piece by piece by
Just
piece.
chasing our tail.
Yeah, I think that we need a master plan to say, this is what that area is gonna look like, this is what's gonna be there, and, because I don't think we can just do, you know, the town office site or whatever.
Don't we, and, I'm sorry, go ahead.
While you're talking about that, I overheard that different individuals from different groups, planning and zoning, a couple of people were putting their thoughts on paper, sending them to different boards. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything at all about that.
Somebody's-
It's a good idea.
Well, it's a
Well,
good way to
there were
start.
three
Here's an idea.
plans that were put to whom? I forget. Went to that meeting. I don't remember. Was that the Board of
Yeah, that was the
Finance?
revitalization.
Oh, that was revitalization.
yeah.
Okay. So there are three different plans that had come to that board.
Oh, you've
The
already
group of the
seen
vegetable, yep,
those. You have.
the village revitalization. They brought, there were three different plans that time.
I must have missed that one meeting.
Okay, yeah, you
Because they
weren't there.
brought it here.
Yeah,
Okay, so-
basically, there's three different ways in which to do the road, handle the road in front of the town office building
From
area.
Individuals from town, not from experts.
No,
Just
no,
opinions
these
from
are,
individuals from town.
basically, two of them were board members,
Right, that's why I
and,
had
and one of them was a selectman.
Yeah, well, obviously, it's gonna be a long road to come up with an idea to present it to the town. So we've got to start somewhere, and that's a great place to start.
Well, I think that, EDC should be at the table on this, so that, I think that as we see things come, I think that, certainly the revitalization committee is the committee that should be running it, but I think EDC should be there, and fortunately, I'm on the board, so we can see what it is, and I can bring back that information to this board, and kind of keep us updated on what's going on down there. And so I think that as things come along down there, and we get an idea as to how this is going to affect the whole business area down there, I think that we have to let the businesses know. Because if we start doing something with a road down there, we certainly want to know that the Gelston House knows what's going on, and Levita knows what's going on. It's their parking lot, it's our parking lot, but they need
It
it.
could become quite an issue in town, and it should be.
It-
It's quite an important issue.
Oh, it's huge, it's huge, it's the whole,
It's the future of that section.
yeah, yeah.
So,
It's the whole economics of that section, so I think there's gonna have to be certainly a lot of input on that. And, but I certainly think that, EDC will be a part of it, and we'll see if we can't get as much of that information and get it back here as we can. Chatham Health, we did have a letter that we had made up, and we were going to send over to the Chatham Health. I think that I wanted to get it back to Kevin, make sure that the changes that we made in it were okay, and I will do that and make sure that that gets back and actually goes out to the health district. And I think that was a good meeting when I think Don was here. I think he did a good job, and certainly I think we were just looking for a little more the financials as to see how much do we spend on Chatham and what is it costing us. And he agreed to supply us with that information. So there was just a few things in that letter that got changed around a little bit. So I would like to just touch base with him before that letter goes out. Tourism Committee, Sue, could you just update us on where we are with the visitor's guide? And
It's all updated. Everything's been, all the businesses. We have only one that's dropping off, and that's a door that's no longer in town. The red places are people that I had sent out to, and they wanted to either add some information or change what was in theirs. We have about 5 new businesses. The East Haddam Stage Company, Sunny Buns Tanning and Spa, Cadence 360, Jewel Yoga, Fox Hop Yard Golf Course. It wasn't included last year because it was thought to be private, but they're semi-private, so there is a tourism component to that. And then Berry Hill Farms. Berry Hill Farms made a suggestion to me, and we put it out there, but we didn't get a lot back. So as we move forward, creating another segment called denoted to the farm stands would probably be
Great
something
idea.
that really drives a lot of people into this area and such, and it would be a good additional. We're probably gonna up the guide by 2 pages. Kevin got the small maps, and basically, this is what we got. The small maps are gonna be an inset of the village and an inset of Moodus, and they're just gonna go down there. They won't be coordinated with the, the A's and the numbers, but you'll be able to look to that you're coordinated there and then look down below it, and we'll just have a notation that, see Moodus map or see village map. There wasn't a lot of issue with it, we just wanted to be more detailed. There's a few little things that will be just moving around and such. the letter and introductory is still all good and such. Because we're going with a different company and stuff, we wanna make sure that there's not any kind of copyright or issues with that. So, Kevin had gotten some photos, and these are a couple that he's had submitted
Oh, wow.
that are kinda cool.
Yeah, doing
And-
nights.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was during the blue moon,
Uh-huh.
and then here's during the ice dam,
Oh.
and then, he's
That was the
got-
best economic thing for East
Yes,
Haddam.
it was, yes, it was.
Those coffee shops and those restaurants down there were busy.
Is that gonna be an annual event now?
Yeah, really, exactly.
We're gonna have to order that, I think.
And then we have a photographer who submitted her stuff to Kevin and said that she'd be willing to use any of the photos and take the watermarks off of them. I couldn't print the file because it's her file and such, but there's a lot of stuff from the parade. There's the youngsters in the
The little
in
outfits,
the costumes. There's the old cars going across the bridge. The one that I thought was the neatest was the flagpole out here, and it's just surrounded by flags and just the flag there and stuff. So we'll just get a compilation of different ones, and some of these will be mixed into it and stuff. But we'll do it different. I'm thinking that we might have a different background color, maybe kind of the color of the walls in here and stuff, just so we can denote
Yes,
easily.
yes, what year these were.
Right, and
Yep.
then on the back we'll be changing out just a couple things. The East Haddam, it was Taste of East Haddam. It'll now be the EHBA Celebrate of East Haddam. We'll change the fall weekend to an EDC fall weekend, and then we had the St. Stephen's Christmas cookie, but we're going to change it to the holiday doors. So those will be our events list on there. So, you know, minor changes and such. I'm ready to go to proof to the designer. I'll put it all on zip drives and get it to him, and then we'll probably have proofs to come back to look at, and I'll get it to you guys. I'll make sure you get it and Linda gets it. And if there's anything, you know, we'll have like a week or two to do that, and then we'll have them up and ready by Memorial Day.
All right, great. Now, how many businesses did we lose?
One,
just one.
Just one business?
a door, and we gained 5.
Gee, that's good.
Yeah, and like I said, and the only one that I know of, and again, I didn't, was Cold Springs Farm, because I'm surprised that I haven't heard from them to
Oh.
get in here and stuff. So I may make that phone call tomorrow and stuff while I still have, you know, time to. The biggest thing is I can change the copy once we do it, but once we start laying it out, if we add an entire business,
Yeah, it just screws the whole thing.
then it gets the whole thing going wacky jawed and stuff. So,
Yep.
and again, they're, you know, going to work with us on net 60, net 90, whatever it is we
Good.
need to do to get paid. So,
Okay, good.
yep. So we're on track.
Okay, great. And what was I gonna ask you on that? If Cold Springs came on, do we have some stands that are gonna be on there this year, or no?
We
You're
have
not?
Berry Hill Farm.
Yeah, but are you gonna make a separate
Um,
designation for the farm stands, or not?
There would be Berry Hill Farm, Cold Springs. Staley's likes to be in the points of interest,
Yeah.
and I might do this year because we don't have a bunch of them. I think we could do those in the points of interest,
Yeah.
and then look at a separate category because I think there's quite a few out there that we would want to not leave someone out.
Of the
Yeah.
farm stands?
Yeah, and such and.
Yeah, they're small too.
Right, and this year I took all the emails and everything I had, and I sent out the notices and the letters and asked for, you know, people to send me back and such. But I think that maybe next year or the next time we do it, we might need to solicit maybe through the newspaper.
Well, actually,
If
there
you
was a
have
listing of them last year in the newspaper, last summer.
Okay.
We had a listing of
Yeah,
all
but
the
I'm
farm
just saying for
stands.
them to contact us, that maybe we put something out.
Right, but we've
like
already
that.
done that, so what I'm saying is to save yourself some time.
Okay.
Is that we already have a listing and it's in the paper,
Okay.
we put it in all.
Do you have a
summer.
file that has all their emails and
It's
stuff?
probably right on the website, but I'll look through, like,
Okay,
if,
if you have
I'll
it
look
and you
at
get it to
June's-
me, I can hold this off for a day or two because that's all it'll take me to call them and get
Yeah.
the information.
I think that would be a nice addition to have.
I agree and
yeah,
stuff.
farm stands would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, you know, people come for a drive and definitely wanna do that, so, okay. Yeah, we're still well within our time frame, so.
Okay, and I mean, it's such a great thing to have
Yeah,
out there, and
yeah.
it's such a high quality
Yeah,
look to
and
it,
stuff,
so I
so.
think that it's been a big, very positive, the businesses all like it, and I think that came out just so
Yeah,
well.
and just the last, as we go through the last run, when we go out to proof, if you guys, I mean, take the time to really like read the sections and stuff and not just look at it, to catch that weird spelling and that weird gap and punctuation so that, you know, we don't look like Or I don't look like a Yahoo and you guys all have to stand behind me, so.
Don't worry, we'll stand behind you.
All right, thank you.
We'll be there. Anything else from the tourism part of this?
Not right now.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Now's a good time, Bob.
Yeah. Okay, let me just,
You letting him talk?
yes, I know it. One of the items under new business is the Four Corners design for doing a roundabout at the Four Corners. And I don't know, anybody seen that? What they're proposing? Bob, would
I
you?
thought- Didn't you bring it up?
Yeah, I brought
See
it.
at the back last month?
Oh, okay, yes,
So, it's
yes.
the same thing again.
Okay, yep.
Did you
Yeah, I
pass
guess
out
he-
anything?
But,
Yes, he-
apparently I can't get it on top of that.
You can move that.
We can mute those if you want.
Oh, okay. I don't think we need that. But,
Well, you're gonna be out of luck.
this is the Four Corners?
Yeah.
So Shagbark is over here, and, because you weren't at that meeting, I'm sure, and then this has gotta be Wrestling Cats.
Town
Town Farm.
Farm. Business here, I don't know whose that is.
I don't know.
Uh,
But,
Town Tavern,
and-
and the industrial park. So,
Eddie, wasn't there a Rotary there once upon a time, way back?
I think there was.
boy, that goes way back, cause I don't remember that one. No.
wow, really?
70s.
Must've been a really small one. Was a couple signs there maybe? There may have been a couple signs there, just, that's all, yeah.
Way, way back.
So, there, I have an explanatory there, but one of the problems in town is that we have some commercial industrial area, but it doesn't have frontage, okay? So a realignment of the road here provides several hundred feet of frontage for commercial and industrial development. What the idea is to reroute Route 82, swing it up the hill, there's a stone wall that goes along here, move it away from the wetlands, and bring it out basically opposite Mount Parnassus. A lot of traffic that's westbound on Route 82, especially with tourists, they like to stop because there's so many signs there or whatever, and I don't know how many times I've almost rear-ended somebody because they come to a
Gotta stop.
screeching halt.
They can't deal with that intersection.
Yeah, they don't get it what's there, so, and not usually just the tourists. And then they proceed, and then they go through the other stop sign here. You don't see that one,
I
so.
think this is where the Rotary was.
Oh,
Right
you know
around
what?
there.
Yes,
Exactly
I
where it
think you're
was.
right, that's
Yeah.
where it was,
Here,
yes.
not at the bottom of that.
So,
Yep.
the concept here is the addition of considerable frontage for,
There's three building, or there's three
Three parcels
commercial
in there.
lots there, yeah.
Right. Which are kind of inaccessible except by, you'd have to build a road. Here, we're maybe getting DOT to build the road for us.
Mhm.
We eliminate 4 stop signs. I mean, I go through everything there. Obviously, this is privately owned and it belongs to Mr. Bernstein. But as a trade-off, if this is created, then, you know, it would be logical to let him have this because this is also his property here. So there's,
What, is that his across the street?
No.
this area here is all his too,
Who's across the street?
across which
Oh,
street.
there.
Over here by
Across.
Town
Over here?
Tavern.
That is all part of this, well, it's too steep, but this is all part of this industrial area here. I'm not sure if it belongs
That's
to.
Artie. Isn't that Artie?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Artie's back there,
Already
yes.
comes, and he comes all the way down to Route 82.
Right there, there's a boundary right there.
Okay,
So-
yeah, comes in, oh, yeah,
The
it's
little
right
green
there.
squiggles here are the approximate contours. It was mapping strangely.
This is for sale.
Oh, it
Oh,
is?
that is for sale.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's the Rotary part you're talking about.
Yes, this would be a
Part of it.
traffic circle.
Byron?
And you'd lose that skating pond or?
Well, no, you wouldn't, well, you'd lose some of the
Use that.
parking area,
Parking,
that's all.
right, okay.
And this could possibly be made smaller. I mean, this is, I just took the traffic circle, I think that was at Killingworth. Pulled it off of there, plopped it onto
There.
here, and then, you know, realigned it for everything.
Yep. Yep.
So, just a concept, I mean, you know, I didn't put, there's no sidewalks or anything in it.
We could dress it though, obviously,
Yeah.
if this was a concept, that
Yep,
kind of work.
yep.
So that we're talking, there's there's 3, 4, there's 5 commercial lots along this section through here, which that's certainly something of
That's
interest.
retail too, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't know if it is, it could be retail, I think
I
it's
remember we
multi,
did that years ago, planning and zoning,
So-
rezoned it.
yep.
Basically, yeah, now this would be all C2, because this was C2.
I know you did some
We did,
realignment.
yeah,
the whole,
yeah.
so it's all
I-
consistent.
EDC basically proposed making this all the same uses, where before
okay.
it had, this was one use, that was another
yeah,
use, and this
yeah.
was another use, it was a nightmare. And so now all these uses are all the same uses.
So prior to this plan, there still is 5 available lots?
Yes. Yep,
And with this plan, there's still
5
lots.
available lots.
There's no reduction, it just provides you more frontage right off the road there, so you would be
And the
much.
road is built by DOT versus us.
Right.
So,
Which
and I
is
don't know
a
if Tiger
savings.
grants would fall into this being one of them, but I think putting this in here would facilitate this traffic jam you get in the morning here now, because it's quite a lot of traffic coming down here, and we're stopping here, I mean, it,
Are there any sites available between the proposed new 82 and the old, in this lower spot right
here,
That's all wetland.
it's all wetlands,
There's nothing available there?
not really, no.
Be a nice
No.
park.
So it's all.
This one section here, there's an old, is the actual, supposedly is the oldest mill location in town. It was the first sawmill that was constructed in town. You can still see the wheel pit and everything down in there. So, and this was a retention basin or detention basin, that was put in for this road. The other advantage to DOT is it eliminates this bridge for them, which this is one of the few that hasn't been replaced on 82 yet. And those are going around $1 million a piece for whatever reason. I don't know why it costs so much, but anyway.
There's a bridge over here too.
Yeah, that one would end up staying. Yeah.
So, what you're proposing is, the trade-off would be to give the industrial part, Bernstein, give him the old 82.
Correct. Correct.
Now, with that, you wouldn't be able to build on 82?
Anywhere here? No, this is wetlands here. This is really
There's
steep.
still no road.
No.
Yeah, but
No, man, this brook goes right along the edge.
that would make his lot so much more accessible and usable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, significantly increase the value of that property.
And I don't know if you realize the Tiger grants was half a $500 million this
I know,
past year.
it boosted it 1.5,
They're going up to 1.5 billion.
so.
Proposed, it isn't done yet, but
Yeah.
they're proposing it.
So, just a concept plan.
Yep.
Sitting there one day watching the traffic, and after I almost rear-ended the,
Person who stops right here,
Especially
yep.
on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
And you referenced that it might be, a deterrent to two wrestling cats.
yeah, so there's gonna be a reduction of some traffic here, but I mean, it's not like they're gonna be going more
But
than
it
100
create-
yards.
But it creates a much better safety zone for that.
Oh, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
when they do their groups out there in front of it and stuff,
Yeah, it-
taking them off of the main intersection would be much safer.
Yeah, so it's just it's a much better traffic flow, and, you know, there's not a lot of negatives in it on this whole
Especially all
thing.
the traffic here coming out.
Yeah,
Right.
The
so,
way it is now.
it's just an idea.
No, and I think that,
Obviously, Mr. Bernstein has to be willing to go along with it, and,
yes,
and
yes.
everybody else has to get on board. to try and
Well,
spin it.
technically, it'd be a home run.
The state likes
Not
traffic
open
circles
property
right now.
for
Right now, yeah.
years.
Yeah, yeah, so.
And I think he wants to. I mean, that's why he did all that clearing there for a while and.
Oh, no, he
you know,
does.
cleaned it up.
It's
And
very
he's-
definitely for sale.
Yeah.
He's spoken to me several times that if I knew anybody who wanted to buy it, he was very ready to sell it. And
So, that was a thought I had.
yeah, no,
As you're driving around, you think of stuff.
Yes.
So.
yeah. And this is a spot in here that could use some redesign of some kind. And because I think we've all run into that situation where somebody jams on the brakes right here. And,
Well, after you see this and then you drive by there and you look at it, you think to yourself, why isn't it like that?
Already.
Because this makes so much more sense.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is also, if we can move those 5 lots, because the town is in dire need of more.
Well, that was what originally brought
revenue
the,
coming in.
exactly.
So if that can help us, that's a lot of money. 5 lots with buildings on them would be an extra.
And some of those would be
100,000.
multiple buildings on those lots,
Right.
by,
It'd be
you know, with your
100,000
zoning.
for taxes.
yeah, well, I mean,
So, I mean, there's wetlands, you know, in some places in there, but this whole section up here, I think, is all buildable.
yes,
Bob's-
yeah, yeah,
but,
this
I
is,
mean,
this is,
I think the drawback has been access, so.
yeah. Because somebody has to build the access across through here. And, because no matter where you get in here, you've got to get it, somebody's got to put a driveway
Well,
across
it's a
through.
good idea. It's a good idea for business, bring more revenue in.
Yeah, I think that, you know, maybe we should take a look and see if this would be feasible. And because it seems like this is a logical, certainly one of the approaches that we should certainly be looking at. And,
So what is the first thing you need to do? Go to Mr. Bernstein and say this is a proposal and,
no, I think
What
you
do you
need to
think,
take
or-
and basically go to, maybe we
DOT?
can,
or COGS? or-
COG, I think we should go to COG and say, is this something feasible for this area? Because it seems like DOT likes these roundabouts, and I mean, that's what,
Bernstein also, I'm sure, well, I'm not gonna speak for him, but that's a gift. That's a gift right there. Whoever owns that.
yeah.
My
well,
thought.
So obviously, it doesn't go anywhere if Bernstein has a quorum about that. If he doesn't like it.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a dead issue,
Right.
but,
It's a dead
Yep.
issue.
but, I mean, he gains this piece.
Oh, you bet.
And then at the end, he can still make it, he can't do anything there, so, he's been, he just donated, almost 20 acres to the land trust.
Oh, did they get the one over by the dam?
Yeah,
Oh, you got the dam?
As to what he's got.
the old dam and the falls, yeah,
Wonderful.
So, may I ask you that lot, that area that curtain is clearing?
yeah.
What's the purpose of that?
That was pulled out for a building lot,
Oh, that isn't it?
yeah, yeah. That, Ronnie still owns that, so.
Well,
At least at
thi-
the moment, anyway.
Yeah, this is something that I'd like us to go both ways. Let's go to COG with it. Let's get an opinion from them. And then also to touch base with Mr. Bernstein with basically a copy of this and get a reaction from him as to whether this is anything that he would be interested in working with, obviously, the town to do something like this.
So, a couple things, while I have you, on the previous thing that Emmett brought down to the COG.
Yep.
So when Mr. Gold responded, he did mention one thing that I thought was one of the things that either the EDC had asked for or and it could have been the village revitalization, was whether that was physically doable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there's pros and cons as to what the site is, but whether it could be from an engineering perspective.
Right.
I don't remember which group asked that to be
I
included.
think EDC, because basically it was the geometry. I asked
Right.
whether the geometry, does this work?
And that wasn't addressed, and I don't know if he just overlooked that or whatever, but,
Well, we could maybe make a letter up and ask what,
yeah, I mean, 'cause Rob, I can't think of the gentleman's last name, who's the traffic engineer down there. I don't even know if he reviewed it or did whatever, so. But on the other hand, you may wanna just wait and see what happens with the revitalization. Revitalization committee has asked to have DOT to come to one of the next meetings to discuss
that area.
bridge going away, the swing bridge.
Oh, really?
eventually
Oh,
going
yeah.
away, so.
Oh, okay. And what you would ever do with that
Yeah, I
traffic
mean,
down there?
just see what their plans are for the swing bridge, because
Mm-hmm.
it's already obsolete by age, even if they extend it out 25 years, so.
It's obsolete by width.
Obsolete by a lot of things.
A lot of things. The one we all see is
The
width.
approaches on our side are,
Yeah.
way substandard, so,
Yeah.
so.
But,
Any
so,
questions on this?
no, so basically the same thing would be here. Does the geometry work to do
Yeah.
something around through here? And,
I mean, obviously, there's,
Size
you
of-
know, I
yeah.
mean, then there's gonna have to be some excavation here. These grades will probably be pretty much the same. They just have to do some cutting here, and
Yeah,
there's a stone wall here. That's where that boundary is. That's a stone wall. But
okay.
It'd be nice to retain that for the
Yes.
aesthetics, but.
Yep, yep.
And, I mean, remediation, DOT can use the removal of the bridge here for any impact on this detention basin or any other
Yep,
impact
area
here.
there.
And actually, if they removed all the gravel here, most of the gravel, I mean, there could be the other big advantage is this whole thing can be done while still allowing the traffic flow.
Yeah.
So there's minimal impact there.
Yeah.
Well, there's some impact. while
Well, there's
building
right
the
here.
circle.
Yeah, right here, but still you could build all of this and that's the bulk of it
Yep.
and not disturb traffic at all.
At that
And,
point.
I'll bet you that would not take that long to do that.
Well, no, I mean, they put it together pretty quickly over in
Salem.
Salem.
Yeah.
Well, they did that one
And
up
that
in
was a,
Glastonbury just recently, and that was only like 6, 7 months.
yeah. And I think that's way too long, but I don't know.
But-
They seem so long, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, look at our bridges, they took a year.
I mean, it did the swing bridge in a year.
Yes.
And,
Yeah,
it takes a year and a half to do a
little
20-foot
culvert.
span now. So. Okay, folks.
No, thank you very much for coming in, Rob, and
Okay,
just
just a
explain.
thought.
And, no, and, I think it's a good thought, and I think that, I think we all recognize we need to do something here, so let's get some ideas. So,
Have a good night, folks. I have to go to another meeting.
yep, thank you. But, so would the board say that that's something we would want to do? Do those, should we go to COG, or should we hold?
Well, both parties, Bernstein and Cox.
Yep. And basically get a feeling from both of them what the feasibility is.
So I make a motion that we pursue this plan that Rob brought in, to approach Ron Bernstein and COG, get their opinions, see where we can go from there.
Okay. I think that, anyone like to second that? Okay, and we have a motion and a second. Anything in particular you want me to put in the letter to Mr. Bernstein, or basically just say that this is a proposal that we're looking at, and we'd like your opinion as to whether this could be something that would be advantageous and be supported by the owner?
Right.
Probably enough said, right?
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
The only other thought process I have about it and stuff is there anything with this being a wetland that would preclude us being able to go in there and move things around and touch things and
This
stuff?
is the wetland, this isn't,
Right,
this
so
isn't.
that is not in the wetland.
That's not in the
So we're
wetland.
not touching the wetland at all?
Well, you're
Okay.
touching it right here.
Okay, so there won't be any kind of hiccup with that?
Well, I mean, it has to go through Wetlands Commission, but I think that
Okay.
if EDC is behind it and P&Z is behind it and that sort of thing, I think that.
The owner's behind it.
And the owner is behind it, I think that it would probably be, this little piece in
You
here.
could do a little jog around that if you needed to.
Yeah, to take and work it around that, but, all right, we have a motion on the floor to basically approach those two. And Emmett, would you be willing to take that to COG and,
Take it on down.
okay, and.
They may be meeting here this month.
Oh, okay.
They've asked if they could, and we may try to make that happen.
Oh, okay, great. No, that would be great. And,
Well, check out the new digs, do they?
They want a tour.
Cool.
They want lunch, too.
Of course they do. Why not?
All right, I'll make up a few more copies of this and we can do something with it.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yes, and so all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously, and we'll take that to the next step and see what we can do with it. The meeting location for EDC, I didn't change it on our basically notification. And it's a case, do we like meeting in the new building? Do we want to stay in the Grange? Do we want to basically move to this location?
New building.
New building? New building?
Warmer in here.
Okay. And
The chairs are comfortable.
yeah, they're a little more comfortable, that's for
You've got a
sure.
couple of advantages.
And now we have room for all the people who want to come to our meeting.
You do
They're
have a
out there,
couple
I
of
know it.
advantages. One is that Linda wants all of them in this building,
No,
all town meetings.
yeah.
And right up there, the eye in the sky, we're gonna be recording everything.
Oh, all meetings?
All meetings will be recorded. and
You're
available.
actually being recorded tonight.
And,
Oh, we are? Oh, gosh, I better look up.
Dress up a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know if I would have had my tie on. God.
Be careful what you say.
Yes. It is being recorded.
But,
Oh, okay, great. Great.
But that's part of the plan, is to have all of our official meetings here, one of these rooms.
Yep.
And have them all recorded and available to the public.
No, okay, no. All right, then what I'll do is I will change the notice, and basically in the town clerk's office that we will be meeting, in this building and also in this room.
Linda already changed it in the article that was going out in the quarterly magazine.
Oh,
She
okay.
caught it and updated it
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff, so it's.
All right, so, but we
Hey,
still
Bob?
have to do it for ours.
Run it by Linda.
Yeah,
She's the one that maintains the schedule.
no, I already did. I
Okay,
ran it
you're
by
already
her.
there.
And, so that, yeah, she gave me the schedule on,
She's-
EDC. Yeah.
crazy. It doesn't work right.
Yeah, right. No, I already talked to her about it and asked her about how they were divvying up these different rooms. And there was only 1 month that we couldn't be in.
July.
It was July.
Yeah, and I think you're just in the back half.
I would say usually in July, we cancel that meeting because it
Yeah, it was.
interferes with Fourth of July.
Right, well, yes, right. And so I think this year, though, we put it in for the 7th the following week, but that is usually one that we change around a little bit. The vision statement, would you like to do that this month or wait till next month to get into that?
I think that we probably have enough stuff on here and stuff. I mean, let's get the old business all.
Okay.
And then we can look if we want to readapt one and.
Do we have a joint meeting with Haddam? Did you already talk about?
Oh, no, excuse me, I went over that because I wanted to do the other one. The meeting with Haddam and Chester. Chester, I've been talking with Chester, and they want to join it. We're looking at May, haven't picked a date yet. It takes an amazing amount of coordination to try and get 3 commissions together here. But as soon as I have some dates.
You don't have any right now?
I don't have any right now.
Okay.
And so I will run some dates by us and see, but.
And we're hosting, so it'll be.
We're hosting, yes, and so it's going to be in this building. And,
They all want to come here.
yeah, well, it's good. But,
So nosy.
But,
It's okay. It's good to show it off.
well, they've also, Chester has also said that if we wanted to, we could meet at Essex Savings Bank. Essex Savings Bank has also offered their facilities to the EDCs.
This is prettier.
Well, I thought, let's let
biased.
people see where we are these days. And I think that,
We'll have our new visitors guide.
yeah, so that would be great. And I
Now,
think,
who participates in this meeting?
basically, we have all 3 commissions there and basically the.
All of us.
Oh, yes, all of us do, and basically the 3 chairmen kind of run it, and then every one of the boards have a chance to speak and basically give a little idea as to what they're working on and the things that we would like to work on jointly. And so I think that, so it would be all 3 chairmen will basically all have opening comments and the closing comments. And basically, I think the big thing is to see what they're doing and see if we can coordinate something, probably making a loop out of our tourism to get it down onto the, I think the railroad is probably and basically the boats coming up. That'll be our connector and the loop, and certainly for our fall weekend, if we could include the train going down, stopping at Chester, and making it so that they could go across on the ferry, go down to the castle, and make that loop around, and not only do it for the fall weekend, but also make it maybe we could do it a little more often.
It'd be great if we could figure out a way to incorporate the ferry
Yeah.
into that, if
Yeah.
we could get somehow. to-
Yeah, and of course, I mean, with Chester, they've got also the
Yeah.
train right there, so we can also utilize their train facility down there. And also, it's a great place to get on the boat, and so they've got the docks and everything right there. So I think that's what it's really the big part of this. Number one, just to meet who works on these committees, these different committees, but also to take and do it so that we could make up a nice way in which to come up with a tourism that will include all of us. And I think that I'm interested to see what Haddam is doing as far as their fall weekend, whether they're going to do it basically down on the railroad area and do it right on the other side of the bridge, because that's what they wanted to do. But they were having a hard time basically getting that coordinated with working in a state park. And that's always another thing you gotta work on. It's not town property, it's a state park, so they have to work on that. And I don't know where they are on that. I don't know whether they have accomplished that or not, or whether that's where they wanna go with it or not. But I think that can come out in this meeting. So I will, as soon as I have something on some dates, I will run them by us and make sure that those dates are gonna work for us.
When you do it, Bob, are you gonna do agenda for the meeting too? If we
Yes.
could include, how they did their development, how it was funded, and some of that stuff to give us some insight, because that's where we're really way behind.
Yeah, yeah.
They've had the ability to get some substantial grants and
How their planner came up
Yeah.
with the process and all of that. That would be,
Mhm.
that would be very
get a little
interesting.
insight.
Okay,
It would
yeah,
help us when we're looking for somebody to
Absolutely.
fill our position, what we should be looking for.
yeah.
Give us a little more insight.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea, and I will certainly add that to the agenda, and that their grant writing people.
Or how
are-
they fund it in general.
Yeah, yeah, how they get funds for it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all about the money, huh?
It always is.
I was saying, always.
It's about the
In
money.
the beginning, you
Yeah.
don't get to it.
Where is it coming from, and how do we get it? And how do we get our share of it? And the East Haddam News and the Events Magazine, I think that Sue is putting,
Done deal.
Okay.
It's been submitted to Linda, it's been submitted to events.
okay,
So, just the matter of coming up with how we wanna go about getting a business that we as an EDC put something in the paper sponsoring that article in favor of those businesses. Because we need to have that, public awareness that we're there working for the businesses. And I think that that's one of the ways we could really do that is, like a monthly,
a monthly
I mean-
showcase a business.
right, other EDCs in the area, I'm familiar with East Hampton. They do a business of the month and they have a placard sign. They have a photo op with the town manager, selectman in our case, the owners of the business. It gets published in the paper, a little blurb about it and such. But it's an EDC coordinated
Effort.
focus. They have a Facebook page that's their EDC Facebook page. They speak to that business. They, put on there who it is. They put the pictures on there.
So they promote it then.
They promote the business. They
Yeah.
routinely promote the new businesses through their Facebook. Ask people to go on to those Facebooks and like them and stuff. So they're very active in the community and seen by the businesses as in support of the businesses. And I think that that's something that, we're talking, the newspaper and doing something like that. But I just see that as an area where we could really make an imprint with the existing businesses. It's kind of a feel-good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they need that, and they need to know that
Yes.
this group of people is there working
For
behind the
them.
scenes for them.
Now, who in East Hampton does that? The EDC?
The EDC, and theirs is very much a committee just like ours.
Do they have a paid staff at all?
No, they do not. The town manager
Does that?
does that and works in coordination with them, just like we work in coordination with Emmett
Yeah.
and the selectmen and stuff. But yeah, and there's several people on that committee. And again, they they go to the businesses, they talk to the businesses.
Yeah.
They have held kind of a business open house when a new business came in town. They sponsored with a bread and breakfast that was in town. Case in point would be when we do have the open house here in Town Hall, it would be an awesome thing for the EDC to do some kind of sponsorship for that. Whatever part we could do to be a role in that, so that we're in the forefront as all the community comes out and sees it. They see all of us and they see that we're working and that we're, especially with just a part-time 15-hour-a-week person, that we're the face of who they can contact. If they have issues, they have problems, they want to do something, they don't know who to contact. They don't see that face of that and stuff. And so to be more, this building's beautiful and stuff. So I think we need to be more out in the public. And so, again, the Events Magazine articles, it's a done deal. We just need to figure out and put together a plan to do something, to get on Facebook, to do something with, the newspaper, to make all those things, so.
Okay, so, I mean, obviously the event is quarterly, and.
And we have lined out, this quarter we did the guide and the general, the next quarter will be the fall weekend, and then the last quarter will be the holiday tours, and so I'll be looking to maybe have Kevin help with the next one, and then maybe Irene can do with the holiday doors and such, so that we're sharing the writing responsibilities and the voice of it and stuff. So.
Well, then I think the one that we'd be doing, let's say monthly, on a business, that's something we'd put in the East Haddam News, And maybe we can work together with the business association on that
Right.
to get the names and
Right.
get,
And although we're
once-
doing it as a committee, I think that when we get the director person in place, that we can run that through that person.
Yes.
Although, we don't wanna text their 15 hours with this kind of stuff, but they still can kind of maybe be the glue.
They can be the coordinator for that
Right,
sort
the
of thing.
glue
Yep.
and stuff. And the same with, like I say, putting a Facebook page together is nothing, but we certainly need one for the EDC.
Yes, yeah, I've heard businesses looking for that, that's
Yeah.
for sure. We did, at the last meeting, authorize to join the business association, which we did. And so we are now a member, so if anybody wants to go to those meetings, we're a member,
Nice.
and so I think that we'll be a part of the business association. So I think that that is a good thing for us to do and become a part of that, and we'll be getting the notifications of what's going on, and I will certainly make sure that we get that information out.
Is there any way, with the celebration coming up, and I'm kind of addressing this to Irene
Yeah.
because she's our liaison, is there any way that the EDC, should we, they have a booth thing, should we have a booth there? Should we?
You could do a booth there. I mean, that
as-
wouldn't be a
again, as
bad
that part
idea.
of, we're out there?
Yeah.
For
For the celebrating
Celebration.
oh,
Saturn.
celebration, yep.
Yeah, because they're
Celebrating
looking at
Saturn.
everybody in the towns and everybody in doing that. So I don't know if that's something that we should be thinking about or we should be considering, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a bad idea. It's a good PR thing to do. The other thing too is that there's gonna be plenty of businesses there. And even if the EDC was walking around talking to those businesses, as opposed to having the businesses come up to you, sitting at a booth, they're busy running their booth anyway. But if you go up and say, hi, I'm Sue, or I'm Bob from the EDC, and I just wanna, it's great to see you here, and have that kind of conversation with them. Are you having any issues? Can we help with anything? You're reaching out to them, and it's easy to reach out to all of them because they're gonna be right there in
I
one
think
little
that's a
field.
great
So
idea.
Yeah.
we could do it that way.
And I'll commit to being there that day, and I'll
Yeah.
commit to doing that if, anybody else wants to join me, but I'll absolutely do
Okay,
that.
yeah, that would
Just
be.
because that way you have those people who are seriously interested in doing business in East Haddam, they're there.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
and they're accessible, they wanna talk to us.
And they're all there at the same place at
Right.
the same time, and,
Yep.
you can hit them all up in 2 hours,
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, yeah,
No.
I'll,
If you do that, and
I'll
I'll
do
also
that,
take
okay.
and be there too,
Okay,
so
sounds good.
we can split up some of that, and, cause I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
when we have a group of businesses, any one particular place, that gives us access, and by walking around.
Pretend like you're running for office.
Yes, so right. Well, we're selling East Haddam, that's what we're doing.
I have to smile?
Yeah, you smile, you can say, what can I do for you?
Yeah,
It's great
yeah.
to see you. Let me know if you need any help.
Yes.
I'll be in the other booth.
You'll be there doing that. Okay, and that's the East Haddam business. To take and have somebody there regularly, I think, Irene, you're
I am.
there regularly.
I am,
So if you
yeah.
could represent the EDC, that would be
Yeah.
great. And you are also listed on here as a person to notification. So you
That's
should be getting the EDC, but I'm sure you get your emails from them anyway.
I do.
But I think it's great that we are gonna be a part of that and working with them. They seem to be doing fairly well. Isn't their organization growing and growing?
Yeah, they seem to have rallied, and they put together their own program. I mean, they changed what was there before, which is fine, and they're changing the Taste of East Haddam and turning it into the Celebrate East Haddam, because it's really hard, and we struggled for the 4 years that we did it to get all the restaurants there, because it's a tough thing for them to do. The Chatham Health thing is a tough thing. Giving away food for free is tough. So they've kind of changed it up a little bit. This year you don't have to pay to go as a person, as a citizen. You're not paying to get in, whereas that's what we were doing before. So you're not paying to get in, and I believe it's up to the businesses one way or the other whether they want to give a taste or not. But there's going to be food available to purchase. So rather than the foodies anyways giving away food, they can if they want, but you can also, they're going to make food that you can purchase and buy. So you're not paying to get in, but you can buy the,
Okay.
buy the food and eat.
Have lunch.
I
But then
think, I
it's
think that
also-
makes a lot of sense, because then you
Yeah.
feel like, okay, I could go there and have a sandwich or something.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And you're gonna buy it, and that's okay, because you
Yes.
didn't pay to
Well,
get in.
and they have quite an array of what I can see businesses and such so far. That's
They do, and they have
$5.
they have a lot of organizations, town organizations that are joining in too, so it really is much more of a celebration of East Haddam, and it was turning into that anyway. So the fact that, they figured out a way to fix the taste thing. And then they also, what they did is, when we first started it, we were trying to work as the liaison between the Chatham Health and the businesses to make it easier on them.
Yep.
But they deal with it all the time. I mean, that's something that they deal with. They deal with the ED, or the health district coming in and checking their businesses and that kind of thing. So let them coordinate that and make that be on them. And here's a place, you can bring your business, it's gonna cost you $25, just do it, and it's up to you if you wanna, get it cleared through the health district or not, so it's
How
kind
has
of
that worked as
working.
far as the money is concerned with Chatham Health? Has that been a case where we're paying a certain $100 or $200 fee to Chatham Health to do everybody?
No, what we
Everybody
were,
individually has to go to Chatham Health and get
yes, and they're doing their thing, but what we did in the course of the 5 years is, the first year that we did it, we paid, the East Haddam Business Association paid $75 for each and every foodie to be there to the Chatham Health. And then we talked to them and said, come on, they're only doing it for a short amount of time.
3 hours
Yeah,
here.
so we got it down to 25, and then we paid it. And then what we did is, we didn't have the businesses buying the booth. So they were giving away free food, so we were trying to make what we could do for them as big as
Right,
as
don't
big as
charge
possible.
them more.
Don't charge them, for the booth, give them a free booth, because they were giving away food, and then we'll also pay the Chatham Health thing, and then we put up they had to have the hand washing stand, so we did the whole hand washing stand. I don't know what they're doing with hand washing stands this year, as far as clearing that through the health district, but,
Yeah.
I'm not involved in that end of it anymore.
Yeah.
But they've decided that, don't charge people, let everybody
Everybody
buy
come
their
in.
booth,
Yep,
and everybody sell food if they want to sell food, and then everybody's on their own as far as going through
Chatham
the
Health.
health district to make, because a lot of these guys are going to, what are they called? The farmers markets, right? So a lot of the vendors that are gonna be at the Taste of East Haddam do farmers markets, so that they figure out,
They're already qualified.
right, they're qualified already, or they're figuring out, or this can be one more on the list of that they do for this season. So, rather than turning it into something separate. So they've kind of worked it through. So honestly, I don't know what the charge is this year that they have to pay.
Could you
but
if you
that's what
hear
we-
what's going on, if
Yeah,
there's a
I can find out.
problem with working with Chatham Health, let's get on that, and
Okay.
so that we can,
I can
help
touch base
them.
with Jess and see what,
Okay, because if
because
there
she's the
is,
one who
if-
kind of
does that,
cleared, well, she's the one that, she and I worked with the health district in the past 2 or 3 years to try and smooth that out a little bit.
Yep.
But now, because they've changed the way they're doing it now, that it's kind of back on the businesses.
yeah,
But I'm sure she's working with people who need the help anyway, so
yeah.
I'll find
Well,
out from her
I
what's
was
going
gonna
on.
say, find out if there's anything EDC can do to help that, to make it go smoothly as possible.
Sure.
And, so that,
Yeah, absolutely.
we wanna make sure that Chatham Health doesn't become a problem for the vendors who are trying to do something here, and it's a nice thing that the town has going on there, and it's
Oh, yeah,
and I
it's a
think
great
if there's
event.
not gonna be any fees to get in, it's gonna draw more people.
Right.
And they were 500 or something, were they?
The first year we did it, there was as much as 6. I think it went down a little bit. I don't know what it was last year. Last year was a bad weather weekend,
Yeah, yes.
so it wasn't as good. But, it's still, 300-400 people.
That's
nothing
a
to-
pretty good
Let's
turnout.
hope we don't have a nor'easter, right?
Another one? you mean?
Another
Let's see,
one,
and the
because we're
April, I
still
don't
in
know. This April's not looking good.
Yeah, Todd, did you have a comment?
Do you have a sense of how many members there are in the East Haddam business?
Right now, it's kind of funny. The East Haddam Business Association, businesses in general, don't seem to sign up right away.
Okay.
But they end up getting signed up like by halfway through.
Yeah.
There's probably, I would say by the time the.
I know you
East
guys
Haddam-
did a bunch of numbers when you first started.
Yeah, when we first started, we were probably about 30, 35,
Out of how many businesses in town?
250, 300.
So
Oh, yeah.
should
I
we
mean,
be
it's-
broader reaching? We're focused now, which is a good thing
Yeah.
on the business association. Those are the ones that are looking to establish more in town.
Well, one thing that I can,
Whole list. you know.
yeah, I mean, it's huge, it's
Yeah.
huge, but I mean, there's a lot of, you know,
Home run
closet
businesses.
businesses, you know, people who are running businesses in their home.
Yeah.
You know, basement kind of businesses that they're really just doing either internet or they're, you know, a small consulting business that, you know, they don't want storefront, they don't want pomp and circumstance at the Taste of East Haddam.
Like I had today, I was talking with the lady from Cadence 360, and she hung up with me, and then she called me right back to inquire about the celebration and if I knew how to become a part of that and all of that and stuff. And so I referred her, you know, to the business association, to the Facebook page, to the contacts and stuff. But again, there's a brand new business, and you would think that
They would have reached
we
out.
would reached out because I mean they're pretty right there in the middle of, you know, and stuff. And again, you know, they didn't have any clue or any idea, even though it's been in the paper, even though, you know, and such. So like I say, so there is still
It's hard. I think
gap.
businesses, my sense, especially working with the businesses in town as long as I have, they're busy. You know, you're busy running your business. You don't have time to be reaching out and networking. As much as networking is so important and networking is really good for businesses,
Well, if you get
they
big
don't
enough,
have
then
time,
you designate a
or they
person
don't know
and it works.
how.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know how to do it, that kind of thing. And in the course of the years that I was doing the EHBA, you know, there were different times where we just said that should we run a workshop about networking? Should we run a workshop about, you know, advertising? I mean, you know, and there was different times where we said, you know, what can we do for the business? What do the businesses need? You know, and unless you walk in, you know, when you walk into the business and you say, hey guys, I'm here, what do you need? That's why they, you know, going to the Celebrate East Haddam will probably be a great idea. You know, they're not gonna come to you, they're too busy. They're doing their thing, right?
Yep.
You're in there, you're working hard, you're doing your business. You don't have time to be saying what we need more of in East Haddam. I mean, I got a job to do, and, you know, I mean, that's
right,
Fred.
it becomes the tail that wags the dog. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing, and, you know, to answer your question, we should get more of them to sign up, but what are they doing for me, you know? So I think we need to answer that question, and then you might get more to sign up.
Yeah.
So,
Well, even if, I mean, if you have, in the business association, we have 50, I mean, and those are the 50 that with storefronts. And typically, that's what they are. They're more of the active ones. And so, I mean, those are the ones, I think, that are the key ones. But there's another 200.
Yeah, I guess the question is, there's a significant amount of other ones that are in there that are contributing to town that we need to reach out to.
Especially when
How
we're
do
talking,
we
there's
get to 'em?
200 of them.
Yeah,
So that's a big number.
I guess it'd probably be a good thing to see a list then. Take a look at it and see how we could step in.
And how we could also recognize some of those 200 that would like to be recognized.
Yeah.
Some people don't, but if they're working out of their home, but maybe some of them would. And we could include those in the ones that we go through a little bit here to do. But
and I think partnering with the EHBA, the EDC and the EHBA, it kind of doubles the presence of somebody
Yeah.
looking out for me, you know, so I think the more we work with the EHBA and we can get the EHBA to work up with us, I think that'll help give them confidence that there's people in town that want to help business. You know.
and it works for both.
Right.
We need to work with them, and they need to work with us because there's advantages both ways. And certainly it's a good group to work with for us. So, all right. Anything else on East Haddam business? The only other thing I had was just the village revitalization. That's a committee that meets once a month. They're working on the town office building site down there. I'm a member of it, and certainly as things come along, I will get it back to EDC to let them know what they're doing. And basically, the interesting thing they had was showing some different ways in which to do the roads, which came up in the beginning of the meeting here. And as those kind of ideas kind of hit the table, I think that, you know, let's take a look at them and see how we might be able to have some input to revitalization and what they can do down there. Any public comment out there? Anybody like to make any statements,
I
thoughts?
just want to say congratulations on the new building.
Yes.
It's nice. You guys did a good job.
It is impressive.
Only took 13 years.
Well, it was a good 13 years. It turned out nice.
It's actually more than 13. I remember being on a committee 25 years ago
Oh,
doing
that's
this.
another story. That was another building.
Oh, yeah, that was another building. Anybody have any comments, thoughts, anything they'd like to bring
Well,
up?
I just wanna say congratulations on your, wedding about to be.
Oh, yeah.
Our Mr. Kasner is getting married this month, and he's gonna be busy with a wonderful day and honeymoon, and congratulations. We
Oh,
wish you guys the very best.
Well, thank you.
Plans, raising little ones. I'll carry the name.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that under advisement. No, thank you. But, any other comments? Yeah, thanks a lot. Anything else for anybody? All right, a motion to adjourn?
So
Second.
proposed.
Second?
Second?
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Excellent.
You're out of new business, huh?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.